and I don't always use it, but I'm going to share it with you because it's a way to give you kind of a competitive edge. So, okay, so when I have a seller that calls in and says, hey, I want you to list my house, my office takes all their information, asks them, all the pertinent questions about their home. I have all different kind of intake sheets. I have intake sheets for buyers. I have intake sheets for sellers. So there's specific questions so that no matter who on my team is talking to that person, that we're asking the same questions. And the questions, sure, they're basic things. How many bedrooms, bathrooms? Do you know the name of the floor plan? What's your house back up to? Describe any upgrades to me. How long have you owned the home? Are you the only owner? In other words, I'm looking to see if there's another decision maker. Do you have pets? Do you have kids? Ages? We ask a lot of stuff that doesn't even pertain to the selling of the house because we want to know how to be prepared for the appointment. Okay. So historically, what we would do is we had bags put together and they were just like little shopping bags, and we had them in different colors. We put a nice label on it and it said this was a home selling toolkit. Okay. And in this bag, we had a book about preparing your home for the market, a book that we printed that was specific to us, to Team Heidi. And it was about 50 pages. I still have it. I haven't updated it. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but there's about 50 pages and it was bound. And, this was delivered to the people. And on the cover, it said the value of the book was $100. Okay. Then in the bag, we also put swag like coffee mugs, pens, koozies. Sometimes I'd buy like little houses just from the dollar store and I'd put a tag on there that says, we sell all kinds of houses, like maybe a bird house, but, just something to show that we're quirky, that we're cute, that we're marketing. And one of the reasons that we asked if they had kids is because we have coloring books for kids that we designed. And it might be like, what happens when Team Heidi comes to sell our house? And then it's like, I wake up every morning and I make my bed and put my toys away. It gets the kids ready for, how to get the house ready. So we're going to make our bed, we're going to put our toys away. And then, then Heidi's going to come and put a sign in the front yard. And then people are going to come and look at our house and, stuff like that. And we put crayons in there. So this is something for the kids. And it's also good because I've been on listing appointments before where people say, like, their kids are crazy. And I say, here, and we pull that out and it gives them something to do. It keeps them occupied a minute so I can get through my presentation. If they have dogs or cats, we put dog bones or little catnip in there, because if they don't have kids and they have pets, they're going to love that you gave their pets some attention. I got a listing. It was like $750 in someplace in Cornelius. I don't remember the subdivision. It was a small place. I'd never listed a house in there. But you know what? Their dog sure loved those balls I sent, And so, and they liked it too, because I gave their dog some attention. So what happens with this also in there is a hot pink sheet of paper. And I've shared this before. That sheet of paper has specific questions I really don't care about. I just care about seeing that pink piece of paper. But on there, it asks, what schools does your home feed into? What day is your garbage? Who are your utility companies? Are there any special features about your home that you'd like Heidi to know? And please have a spare key ready when Heidi comes to your home, and have this paper completed. When I walk into their house and I see on their kitchen table that pink sheet of paper filled out, I know I've already got the listing. So sometimes I get to someone's house and I ask the question, do you want to talk about marketing and go through everything, or do you just want to talk about numbers? Usually when I see that pink piece of paper, I know I'm just going to get to talk about numbers and get out of there. Okay. Because my goal is not to spend the night with them. My goal is to get in and get out. So they call my office, they make the appointment, we get all the information. Then a little appointment card is attached to this bag, and all the bags are pre-made. Okay. A little card is attached and it says, this is just a reminder that Heidi will be at your house tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then that bag is dropped off at their house. Now, how many other realtors do you think are dropping something off at someone's house before the appointment? None. Okay. Times changed. The market got crazy. There wasn't time to deliver a package. Some agents started emailing that. I didn't email anything because that is, they can forward it to people. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't want my stuff. I have a guy on my team. He goes on a listing appointment. He doesn't leave his CMA. I leave mine. He doesn't, because when I go on a listing appointment and they've had another agent there, I said, well, can I see the CMA? I want to see that other agent's collateral. I want to see their marketing materials, because it lets me see what they're doing, lets me know what my competition's doing. So this pre-listing kit is sent out before you ever meet them. So it already puts you ahead of your competition. Do you guys follow me? Anybody do like expired packages? Okay. What's his name? He's an EXP agent, big with expireds. Bill, what's his name? Michaela.
I don't know.
Bring me that white binder on your desk right there. I think it's on your corner of your desk.
Is it John Padone?
No, this one right here. Okay.
Chuck Atkins.
Yep, that's it. Let me tell you something. I've been in business for 22 years, and you see this? This is his expired package. I have one. You know why? Because one of my sellers gave it to me. But I mean, this guy, if your seller, if you have a listing that expires and they get one of these, you're done. They're not calling you back. You're done. Okay. And in my career, this is the second one I've gotten. Okay. This actually came, my sister had her house listed. She did like for sale by owner. No, don't ask. I don't want to list my sister's house. And when she took it off the market because she didn't want to sell it afterwards, he dropped this off. But it's incredible the stuff that he puts in here. But you see, he has a system. He has the binder all ready to go. And he probably just has stacks of these in his office and they just deliver them. And so that's what you got to do. You got to be systematic. You got to be automated, and, you know, do it the same way every time. So I'm telling you, huh?
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
To back you up with Chuck, he's one of our top individual agents at EXP. Year in, year out, individual agent, he's closing 25 million a year. So what you just brought up works for him.
Right. So, but that's his niche. His niche is expireds, for sale by owners. You know, it can be your niche too. It's not my niche. When I was a new agent, I did work expireds and, you know, and for sale by owners, but now I don't want to say I don't have to, but now I just don't. I mean, everybody should. And if you, I mean, there's not any out there, so it's kind of tough to do it. But anyway, so getting a pre-listing kit out there and delivering it to your client before your appointment is going to put you ahead of your competition. And they're also, you're going to stand out. I know agents that will put it on a CD and deliver it or mail it, but you know what? Or on a thumb drive, they're not going to watch it. They're not going to watch it. And you can't give them a coffee mug or some kind of branded item like that. It's just going to be something that's lost. Does anyone else do a pre-listing kit? Anyone else send anything out before an appointment?
Nope.
You don't? Have you ever?
Nope.
Okay. Well, you know, right now, huh?
Good.
Well, right now, what my team is doing, you know, you have to be planting seeds, okay? And we know that the market's going to return. We don't know when, but we're planting the seeds. Historically, everyone on my team was buyer agents, except for one or two people that also did listings. Now, everybody, I've hired someone, I'm farming so many neighborhoods right now, and agents on my team are assigned to these neighborhoods, and they're going out and doing different promotions in this neighborhood. I have one agent on my team, neighborhood she lives in, she's been doing pickleball tournaments, and her attendance is growing. She just had her second one. She's got her third one already planned. And people, you know, they'll know her for that. Has she gotten a listing? No. Is she meeting people? Yes. Is she having conversations? Yes. You know, someone else doing a school drive. You you just got to get out there and do it and be present in your neighborhood or somewhere to get listings. But you've got to do something and everything better than the other people. So having a pre-listing kit, putting it together will set you, above your competition, whether you have it delivered, whether you have it FedEx, or like in Charlotte, we have something called Dash Courier. Sometimes when I used to have a runner that worked for me full time, and I had a car with my name wrapped everywhere. They would drive all over the place, drive the wheels off it. But then when things started to slow down, or they were off one day and I needed something delivered, instead of having a team member deliver it, I just called Dash Courier. They'd come to my office, pick it up, and they take it and drop it off at that person's house. So when I get to people's homes, they were so appreciative of what I had left for them. And they said, oh, we read your book. It was very informative. And, they loved that their kids got something, or their pets. So, I mean, it's such an easy thing. And it can be done very inexpensively. I'm the dollar store's best customer. Okay. And the way you present it, it looks like something better than what it is. So that's my tip for, too bad it's not Tuesday. I'd say Tuesday's tip, but it's Wednesday's wonder. So what the hell? So what else? So what do you want to know? Let's talk about listings. Let's talk about pre-listing kits. Tell me something that you guys do that you think sets you apart from other agents when you compete.
One thing I would do, Heidi, is if I have a listing presentation coming up, I might drop a card off in their mailbox, physically do it, and say, it was great talking to you yesterday. I look forward to meeting with you next week. And then after the listing presentation, I do the same thing. It was great meeting with you. I look forward to getting your household, get back in contact with me because I need to set a photographer and appraisal for measurements, just trying to drip on them more than the next person.
When I prepare my listing presentation, before I go to their house, I write my thank you note. I say, it was great meeting you. I appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to working with you. The minute I walk out of their house, if they've hired me or not, that card still, it's generic. As soon as I leave their house, I just drop it in a mailbox and it goes mail.
So you actually mail it with a
I
stamp?
Mail it.
Okay.
I mail it with a stamp. I can afford that stamp, Bill. If you need some money, you let me know.
Listen, we all know you have all the money.
Oh yeah, whatever. So yeah, I mail it to them. I have some friends that say after a listing presentation that they send the seller like a little flower arrangement, looks like a little soda glass, just some cute flowers, just saying thanks for the opportunity. And this friend of mine, she's in Ohio, and she has an arrangement like with a florist. They give her a discount because she sends so many. And it's just it's just a cute thing. I mean, if you just do things that are different than other people, than other agents, because it will set you apart. It will show people that you're a marketer. And that's what they're looking for. Right now, I mean, it's a different kind of market, and we all know that. So, when the market's tough is when your things that you do that are different are what's really going to stand out. Right now, they may not recognize that, or they may not care about it because, I mean, listen, let's face it, a donkey could go sell a house today. I mean, they could get an offer. I don't know if they could get it closed, but when the market's a little bit tighter, they want to see that you're a marketer, that you can market and that you can get along with other agents and you have ideas to make their home stand out. Does that make sense? Heather just put in there that she does have pre-listing kits for sellers and buyers. It's good that she said buyers because we do have a buyer presentation. How many of you have a buyer presentation? Okay, we have, all right, so Valencia's got one. So we have a buyer presentation that is a PowerPoint, and each one of my agents have it, and it's customized to them, and it talks about, the buying process, because a lot of people don't understand the buying process. It's easy for us because we do it every single day. So it's just second nature. But, if you've got someone, they really don't know that they don't need to call every listing agent. We get mad when people do that, but they do that because a lot of times they're not educated. So we have this whole presentation that we go through and we show them the whole process and what we do exactly. So they know how hard we work, because a lot of people just think all we do is go open up the house. So
And Bill's usually out, recruiting and selling. So he doesn't know the back end of the marketing, but he does have the pre-listing presentation, a buyer's pack, a seller's pack, a home moving guide. And we have for the kids, Berenstain Bears moving day book and a box with markers for them, the kids to decorate their box.
right.
And it has like a little contract, like you said, like,
Yeah, nice.
we're going to clean up our room. And if I do this, then I get to choose between these prizes. And it can be like a Target gift card, Amazon, but it just depends on the family dynamics. But definitely it's important to have all those in place before you go.
And right now, because because the market's tough, take time to put your systems in place and get all this stuff together right now. You can't see it, but I don't know if you can see this, but like, do you see that rack over there? These are all like forms and they're color coded that we use in my office. And so take your time right now to get your systems in place.
I agree with that, especially like Gmail templates, the templates that you're sending out to clients, have them set up as a template and they just go out when you need it. And you're not recreating the wheel every time you're talking to a new prospective client.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, I use a CRM and it's got drips and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not recreating anything. It's already done. But I will tell you some emails that I've saved. Have you ever tried to explain to a seller about repairs and why they should do it and all this kind of stuff? And, all the points, like, if you don't make the repairs, you're going to have to disclose it. You've got a buyer in hand. So, fix it now or fix it later or reduce the price or whatever. And just because you disclose it doesn't, excuse you from having to make the repairs and all this kind of stuff. I think in my career, I've written that email like a million times. So finally, I just made one email and I get a seller sometimes that's cranky like that. And I just send it. You can make it generic. So you can do some of these things. So, but right now is a great time to put your pre-listing package together.
Exactly. And like trusted service providers, because how many times do you guys as agents, they say, do you know a plumber? Do you know an electrician? So if you have this nice letter and then you send them your trusted service provider nice list that has all that, they keep going back and referring it to it. Plus it's branded to you. So it's something that they always keep of yours.
And we're getting off the topic a little bit, but Heather, that's a good point, because what I do, we track everything. Like I know how many deals I've sent to this one inspector. I know how many deals my lender gets or other lenders. I keep track of everything, because when I want something, I call them up and go, hey, I need a new TV for my office. And then if they say, well, and I go, oh, well, I sent you, 200 inspections this year. The tune changes. That TV did come from pillar to post, So that's why I track things. It's leverage.
Okay.
And I make everybody on my team use the same people. I get people on my team sometimes that say, well, I came from Allen Tate and I love so-and-so over there, or I love this home inspector. And I go, well, great, but that's not who that's not who I use. That's not who my team uses, because I have developed relationships with the people. And so I get things from them, like I'll tell you what, a lawn service, I found their flyer one day somewhere. I referred them over and over. And I gave them so much business. I finally said to them, hey, you want to be on the back of my flyer that I put out in the neighborhood? And they said, sure. You know what they pay me? It covers the delivery. They're on the back of my flyer. So it's called leverage, but they keep getting business. And so they've been doing that with me for over a year now. So you have to develop these relationships and be loyal to them. I know we're talking about all this kind of listings and buyer stuff. I like business stuff and within a team. Like I'm changing my website right now, and it's expensive, but I'm going to. And my lender now is involved in it. And I told my team this morning, this is the first person that gets a shot at anything, because you have to have these relationships and build leverage. If you don't have it, you'll get nothing. If you don't use the same lender over and over, if you don't use the same attorney, how many of you use Ann Coley? Anyone know Ann Coley?
I know Ann Coley. I use Josh Smith. I like Ann.
I can call Ann at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night and she will call me back. And if I need an addendum, I'll have it. You know why? Because I send her a lot of business. So
She's amazing.
she is amazing. So, and you know, when I go on a listing presentation, that's one thing I tell people, that I have relationships. I tell them if we're negotiating and it's the weekend and I need an addendum or I need legal advice on your behalf, I can get it. You know, so don't spread the love. Don't go to Nip, Costner, you know, wherever, you know, be loyal and they'll be loyal to you. And don't be afraid to ask people for referrals, you know, for, you know, you're giving your vendors, I mean, they're people too. You know, ask them, hey, who do you know? Do you have any for sale by owners in your neighborhood? Because I bet you other agents aren't asking them.
Agreed. Good stuff, Heidi.
So, I mean, it's, you know what, it's not rocket science. We're not, like John Green says, you know, we're not doing brain surgery. I mean, it's easy. So I would say right now with the way the market is, take time to work on your systems, especially it's quiet because it's August. The market is starting to trend up. I mean, I just talked to Tim Brown this morning on my team. He works with like 5 or 6 banks with their asset managers and things are starting to happen. He's starting to get, you know, calls with REOs and things like that. So I always check with him because when the banks start rumbling around a little bit, I know things are getting ready to pick up. And that's what he told me this morning. So I would right now work on getting all your systems in place. If you have a listing presentation, I would practice it. Don't just go to someone's house and practice it. You know, there's a thing, it's practice, drill, rehearse. So do it yourself in front of a mirror, see how your facial expressions, your delivery, you know, if you want to throw a little joke in there, you know, do it on a friend, but make sure that you're comfortable and make, like I do mine on a laptop or my iPad, make sure in case technology fails that you know it. I can do mine. I can see that the slide in my brain. I can just go through my whole presentation without it. And that's how you need to be.
Awesome. Heidi, listen, we appreciate everything. I'm just going to review some stuff. Heidi talked a lot about leverage, right? That's so important because you have a business. You're not just selling houses, you're building a business. And if you can partner up with lenders and home warranty companies and inspectors and give them a lot of business, over time, they'll respect that loyalty and they'll help you with your business. And it might just be paying for half your flyers, paying for half your mailers, but you're growing a business. That's what you have to remember you're doing. You're just not selling houses. This is your business, okay? Systems in place. Heidi said it's a great time right now. Get your systems in place, whatever they are, be organized. Heidi already showed us left of her conference table. She has a whole stack of brochures and stuff. She has her systems in place. I like what you said, practice, rehearse your presentation. Yeah, absolutely. You got to do that, you know? You have to know when you're going to sit down with the client, your presentation forward and backward, no matter what presentation you're giving. You know, look at Heidi today. She didn't use a slideshow, right? Heidi stood off the top of her head, you know, so she's prepared. And I know she spent a little time before she got on in the last couple of days to be prepared because she's successful. She's a professional. You guys have to treat your business the same exact way. You're going on a listing presentation. You better just not put it together 5 minutes beforehand and run out the door. The day before, it should be all done. And you should be reviewing it that night and the morning before, because when you sit down with them and they ask you a question about the house up the street, you better not sit there like a deer in headlights. You better know, oh, 118 Maple Ave, yeah, it's pretty much the same floor plan and it closed for, you know, 145 a square foot. I think you're going to get a little more because you upgraded your kitchen. You have to know what you're talking about.
Bill, I want to add one thing to that. You know, I've been on listing appointments where, let's say I'm going on a listing appointment, it's a 2-story house, okay? And then the people go, well, what about that house across the street? Well, it's a ranch. Well, I didn't include it in my comps. So now what I do is I pull all the actives in a neighborhood, regardless of it's, you know, it's comparable or not to the subject. and I pull active sold, pending, whatever. And I tell them, this is everything in your neighborhood. Might not be comparable to your home. Now then we're going to drill down and look at the comps that, where we're going to get your price from, because that way, if they ask me about that house, it's not comparable, I at least have the answer for them. I want
Heidi,
to be really prepared.
I do the same thing. So I might have my active, under contract, and closed comps, 3 of each that I really like, that I really want to review. I usually review about 9 to a dozen homes.
Mhm.
But on the back of my binder, I'll have the 8 other homes that sold that aren't comps, but I have them. In case
Right.
they ask, I can pull it out and refer to it.
Right.
There's times, Heidi, when I first got into business, I was put in that situation and I didn't have all the comps.
Same here. And you know how I put my listing presentation together? When I went on a couple listings, the questions they asked me, they all ask the same questions. So then I put my presentation together. When I get to someone's house, I'll see a pad of paper, they'll have like a bunch of questions, and I'll say, you have questions for me? And they go, yeah. And I go, okay, well, why don't I do my presentation? And then at the end, we'll see if you have any questions left. And they go, okay. I do my presentation, and as I'm doing it, I see them like sometimes marking things off or whatever. And then when I get to the end, I go, so do you have any questions? And they go, no, you covered everything. So pay attention to the questions that people are asking you, because then you need to develop your listing presentation to accommodate that, to address that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So listen, does anyone have any questions for Heidi? She gave us a lot of great nuggets today, a lot of stuff we can implement into our own business. So don't be afraid to unmute yourself and ask a question.
What are some of the common questions?
Oh, common questions. How are you going to market my house? And, Eileen, because I'm a team, people go, well, am I going to work with you or someone on my team? So, I have a slide there that shows me, my team, and I address, how we work.
Okay.
And it's different for everybody. Some people, like for me, yeah, they're going to, if they list with me, they're going to work with me. Okay. They want to know about, how long does it take to sell their house, the pricing, the competition, how I'm going to market the home, how am I going to communicate with them, what's my experience. So, like a lot of times people say, well, how many houses have you sold? That is the dumbest question. Who cares how many houses I sold, or where's your office located? Who cares? Because I live in Las Vegas, and I list houses over here. I've never even seen them. My assistant goes. But my point is that you'll start hearing the same questions over and over, and you'll develop the responses before they can even ask them. And that's what I did. So like I do my presentation, and then I ask them, do you have any other questions about my marketing or how I'm going to get your home sold? And they usually say no. They usually tell me that was a great presentation. I go, okay, let's talk pricing. I showed them all my comps, and then I say to them, did I tell you anything you didn't already know? And usually, they'll say yes or no, like I didn't know about that house down the street or whatever. I already have an idea of what they think their house is worth, because when they called in and made an appointment, that's one question that my office asked them. And the question is, if you were a buyer today looking at your house, what would you offer? Some people will throw out a number, and other people will say, well, that's what I want Heidi to tell me, And so I already have an idea of that, of where they're at. And so sometimes I volunteer and give them a price, or sometimes I wait and I just let them put the price out there. And if I don't agree with it, then I tell them. But if I think it's great, then I say, that's exactly where I'm at.
Okay.
Then after we're done talking about pricing, I work a seller's net sheet with them. I'm telling you, if you don't do that, you need to do that, because hardly any agents do that. And I just do it by hand. It's so easy. I just have a seller's net sheet. I say, here are going to be your costs, your revenue stamps, I just go through it, prorated taxes. I just show them, because they want an idea. If you do a net sheet, you can close somebody right there. See, what happens is the agents that don't do the net sheet, after the agent leaves, that seller's trying to figure out how much money
Right,
he's going to have left. So if you sit there and do it with him, you can close them.
Okay.
I have a nice template for that too, if anybody wants or needs a net sheet that you can use.
Okay. All right. What else? Okay.
That's it. Heidi, you did such a good job. We don't have any more questions for you.
Oh, shut up, Bill.
Well, Heidi, you did an awesome job. We appreciate you as always. If anyone has any other questions, please just email them directly to Heidi. Bypass me. She's got so much time. she's only running a mega team.
No, my coach said he's trying to get me to, he said, my problem is I live my life on vacation. So I'm trying to apply myself better. I'm doing that. I'm doing that for 2 weeks.
Good. We like to hear that. That's
Yes, I know. I know. All right, you guys. Well, it's good seeing everyone. Bill, are you back home?
I am back home in Florida. Got home midnight last night. Great to be home. I'm actually driving up tomorrow. I have 2 listing presentations.
Well, call me when you're here.
I will give you a call tomorrow on the way up. Great to see everyone, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.
Great job, Heidi.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.